Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome to Fantasy Forecast for Wednesday, December 14th. I was going to say a couple of weeks before, the new year hits, and I just got all screwed up there. Sorry. And I'm not going to re-edit because these are unedited videos. And honestly, I've already filmed this once today, guys, so there's no need to get pissy. I'm just going to keep on rolling. So, score, 240 from yesterday, killed by another injury, guys. Not kidding. Derrick Rose. Ownership at 22%. If the homie had had his 33 points like the guy right above him, we would have cashed. 22%, you can figure the cashing lines when it got about 6 points at 22% ownership. It was around 260, so 266, 270, they would have paid. Annoying to lose on injuries 2 days in a row. What the F? Today, take advantage. That's the way I look at this. I haven't lost 3 in a row yet this season, but and statistically, I'm due to do it at least once. So take everything I'm saying today with a grain of salt, right? Because I could lose. But let's go ahead and, try to win some money and see what we can do. We got an interesting little slate up here going on, and I'll go ahead and I'll try to go through everything. I also did some DVP analysis for you guys that I think you should look at, so let's go ahead and take a look at what's coming up for today. Alright, so this is your cash game lineup. I'm going to walk out of screen here. I got a piece of paper I wanted to go over, and then once I'm done with that, we'll go ahead and move into the lineup here. So this is a cash game lineup. It's not GPP. In a GPP, I would fade Westbrook. Not kidding. $12,000, I know. He's come down 600, but he's playing Utah. It's fantasy death. He had a horrible game before too. The script isn't there. You have a Porzingis who puts up 58, a great game, and then also has an amazing matchup coming up, and yeah, he scores more than 50. I said he was going to go into the 40s. He was just a little bit above that. He didn't get to 58 again, but he was in the 50s again, which is a wonderful performance, and I had no problem with anyone, and that's kind of the way you should play these things. You should look at it and be like, is this smart or not? Westbrook really isn't smart today for any kind of ceiling, not for like getting 70 or 80 points. It's not going to happen today, guys. But do you think he'll bounce back and give you like 58, the same thing Porzingis did a couple days ago? That I think is kind of likely, even against Utah. He's just that kind of a guy, and that's right around his average. So I would run Westbrook today in cash, in consideration of all the value and opportunity that has opened up. And that's why this video has come out a bit late. Let's roll through the rest of the lineup, and then we'll go into our analysis because we got to move quick. Beverly at the point guard position, Westbrook and Beverly. J.R. Smith and Harden for your shooting guards. Johnson and Ariza at your small forward positions today. Ibaka and Frye for your power forwards. And Embiid for your center. Let's go ahead and move into DraftKings. Give you a DraftKings lineup real fast for today. DraftKings is interesting because of multi-position eligibility. I would have loved to have run Cousins today as well and done a three center lineup. I think it would have just really balled, but you can't do that anymore. So Harrison at your point guard, Smith at your shooting guard, George at your, I think that's small forward, but they also slash it with power forward. Power forward, take Channing Frye. Center Embiid. Your guard position Harden. Your forward position Booker. And your utility Capella today. And this is GPP only on DraftKings, guys, so know that. GPP only on DraftKings. I don't have a good enough win record on there to play it in cash. It's just, it's risky, so take your chances on it. Let's move into today's slate, which is almost more important than everything else. I'll try to just do about a minute at each position. Westbrook, we just talked about. Wall, love him today for tournaments, and I would even say he's a cash game play too instead of Westbrook. Wall looks just... because you need to spend some of the salary somewhere today, and Wall is okay for doing that. I'm not saying Charlotte is great against the point guard position, but he should see 38 to 40 minutes of runtime, and I think a floor of 45 points is secure. And I know you're paying a little bit much for it, even on a heavier game slate today. I think it's like 10 games, but watch it. You're not going to really see many other places to spend up. You can try Chris Paul against Orlando. It's a question of trying to mitigate blowout risk and playing, the best salary spend up you can. Because if you want to drop down further, Dragic still looks good against the Pacers. Still has value in Miami. As long as Winslow is out, as long as the main guy, you have Richardson back. The shooting guard position there is a nightmare. Basically, they have 3 shooting guards listed on FanDuel that are all starters, so that's hilarious. Speaking of which, that's why you guys, if you're looking for multi-position eligibility, like I was talking about on DraftKings, it exists on FanDuel. You just need to find players that are misappropriately identified. That is a strategy for playing here too. I'd avoid Lynn until you know they're having secure minutes back. I mean, the problem with Lynn is that he's probably going to split those minutes. And even though it's a great shot against the Lakers, if only you knew that one of them was going to get 33, 34 minutes. As long as both of them are getting 25, why play them? You don't have enough upside to do it. Hill is out, but Hood is in, which has basically killed Jingles' value. So people that were thinking Joe Ingles because he was good, he's gone. Shelvin Mack pretty much lost his value. D'Angelo Russell might be coming back. He's a GPP pick only. And if you look at it, I mean, let's go to DVP for today. The best positions against the point guard today, you'd be playing D'Angelo Russell because he's technically the starter and he might go up in minutes, but it's really subject to the Lakers' whims, which is a problem there. Harrison at 4,200. He's not in this lineup, but I'll scroll to him right now. Sorry. Harrison against Cleveland, 4,200. So you can check him out and just pause the screen real fast if you want to look. Lou Williams, which would be GPP only. I mean, he's playing against the Nets. I mean, basically the Nets and the Lakers against each other. Oh, sorry, I jumped to shot guard. No, Shelvin Mack with Exum out, but that's already just kind of killed because Exum's in. Tyler Johnson is the last one that I have listed down on my starts for the day as to which are the best against DVP. So Tyler Johnson is up at 53 right here. And he could run 35 points today if my DVP numbers are right and projections. They run to the higher ends of their scales of 25 to 35, so he'd be on the higher end today. Let's move on to shooting guard because I don't see much else. I mean, you can go down to cheaper value, but I mean, I don't know if you need to. I mean, Patty Mills could turn into value with Aldridge being out all of a sudden, but Shelvin Mack is not value anymore. Yeah, I got Patrick Beverly in there. I haven't mentioned him, but I mean, basically now with Boogie out, the Sacramento and Gay, I believe. So, I mean, they're really going to be hurt over there. There'll be some Sacramento value you can grab, but the other way you can play it is just grab a bunch of the starters on the other team and see how much they can run for the 3 quarters and see if they're still value. So, I'm going to run Beverly. I think Beverly can do us 30 minutes today, and if he does 30 minutes, he does you at least 35 points. Against the scrubs that they're running today, most likely. J.R. Smith, basically all of Cleveland is sitting guys. There's Cleveland value everywhere. So you can't play King James. I mean, you can't play Kyrie Irving. You're going to play J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is basically going to be the front and center lead of the offense. He's going to lead the infantry and, the guys that always get shot and killed. But hey, he's still going to lead them. So take General George Custer Smith here. And for 3,500, you can't beat the value. It's probably what the U.S. government thought when they sent him up. So, shooting guard, J.R. Smith, you can spend up for Harden for your other position. No problem against that weakened Sacramento team like I was saying. I mean, you don't like the spend up so much, but I mean, at least in this spot, he's going to get his points. There isn't going to be any problem with that. And when they get the blowout, it's on Harden's back. So, take your 50 and move on. Might be a little pricey for it like Davis was the other night, but this is turning into a tougher slate than a lot of people are going to realize. So, because you might have a lot of punts at 30, but you can't take 9 punts at 30. You end up with $10,000 in salary left and you realize, oh crap, I need to spend up. So, let's just move into the, what we have to do. There's Hood playing. Shooting guard. Oh, besides Kilpatrick, who I just mentioned, and I just passed for crazy reason against the Lakers, basically everyone against the Lakers and the Nets today. The whole game can be targeted. I mean, there's almost no spread against it. It's like 1 or 2 points or even, and it's a really high-scoring one, too. You're going to want to just, hey, get a couple guys from that, if not anything. At least one. At least one, no matter what you do. I'd be shocked if it's not in every winning lineup today. At least one guy from the Lakers and the Nets. I'd be surprised if it wasn't 2 or 3. You just look for high-scoring games. That's just what happens. Ellington looks actually decent today. I know he's a 3-point shooter, but against the Pacers, I think he's in an okay spot. I mean, basically the shot guard position for Miami, like I said, you got Ellington, you got Richardson, and there's Magruder somewhere farther down. Magruder. So, I mean, all 3 of those. And toss and load like a little GPP salad. Crawford is in play. I mean, or Redick. They're both shooting dependent, and either one could get hot. So there's your GPP choices if you like either one today. Look individually at each position carefully. I mean, that's the micro-targeting that almost none of us have time to really get into. You can study individual players for 20 minutes matchup and come to a really good decision in between them, but to do that for every single player on the slate, it's impossible for all of us to do on a 24-hour basis. We need to eat, we need to try to sleep. I mean, those kind of things happen. So, Temple. Gotta love Temple today. 3,900, definite GPP pick. You want to spend down at the position you don't like Harden, and you're going to spend up at Westbrook or something? Oh, you already have Westbrook, but you want to spend up on Wall instead of Beverly and move up to George. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. Go ahead, take Temple. Prefer that to Magruder any day of the week. Let's see what else there is here. Pretty much garbage, guys. Joe Johnson, like it against Miami, just came back in the last game, put up 30 fantasy points or something like that, and is going to be a sleeper in because no one's thinking about it. Just run it, and they're going to keep on giving him run, and if not, a few extra minutes. A few extra minutes means 10 extra fantasy points in my book. This guy's looking at a 35 spot, and no one's thinking about it or talking about it today. Ariza, small forward. Almost another guy that people might start to be on with Sacramento, like being really weak now. Like, I mean, Cousins covers the forward positions, Powards, you know what I mean? So Cousins will come out and defend against these guys sometimes, and that's not going to be there anymore. Kofos is nothing like that. He's going to hang near the rim, and so Ariza just popped up by 6 points in my book. Porter looks good, but Ariza looks better. Porter still looks good if you only have the two to go to Porter. Even Morris, right in those mid areas. I just skip Crowder. Skip Crowder out of those three. Covington, Miles, blah, 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 blah. Robinson should still get the start. That's probably good value at 4,400. Finney-Smith is a good pivot off of it because a lot of people are going to be on Carroll. Against the Sixers, of course they will be. So, I mean, no one will probably be on this pick. That's a real good GPP pick. I do think he'd see about 23, 24 minutes. Maybe if he got hot, but about half the game maybe. Probably closer to 20. He got hot, he got 24, 25. Okay. Dang, you gotta love. Like I said, Lakers against the Nets. Take them all day long. Let's see, we got Robertson. I mean, there's a lot of value here. You can skip Jingles today. Bellinelli's in play. Just look at the DVPs against them. Also, small forward. Deng, one of the best positions. I just mentioned him a second ago. Bogdo, I passed him. He's a little more expensive. So, I mean, he's got a good DVP, though. There he is. Bogdanovic against the Lakers. That's a good matchup, no matter what you can say. I mean, technically he's got a good matchup. He just doesn't do a lot with these minutes, no matter what his matchup is. So, but technically he's got a good matchup. I'd say Carroll and Ross are in play. Carroll and Ross is going to be a little bit cheaper. Where's Terrence Ross? He is somewhere around here, I believe. There he is. 3,800. So they're both in play, especially with the DVPs. And Paul George against Miami at the very top. Didn't even talk about him. The DVP is they're the 26th in the league or something like that against it, and it depends on how you measure it. You can go by 5, 10 games, There's a lot of different ways of statistics, and I look for absolute numbers. I don't care what any site says. I'm just looking for absolute raw FanDuel points scored against. And I do look, though, at trends, 3 games back, 5 games back, 7 games back, 10 games back, 14 games back, the whole season. And to see if there's like an up and down trend, or if it's like a circle, or if it's like a little like bumpy road. You can start to predict those things. You can see where the splits occur in games, and like how some people do good on the road and some people do good at home, and those things show up like the bumps and valleys, like I was telling you. All right. I'm just going to move on from the small forward position. We've done enough there today. We got to get this moving. Griffin's a great spend up today. You're going to need to spend up in some places. Go ahead and take it against the Magic. Again, the matchup isn't ideal, but this is a good spend up where he's probably going to get 45 to 50 points today. I do like that. If he bums out, he's probably going to be still solid for 40. He's more of a steady cash game player, and I like it today. Favors, don't take it on the first game back. Randall, you got to wait for him to ceiling. That's a crazy GPP pick if you ran it that way, but I mean, sure, why not? Randall, I would not take it against the Nets just because even when he plays good opponents and even what he does, I mean, and watch me be proved wrong because I do like the Lakers, and he could it's a high scoring game, he could run for 42 points tonight. But I kind of think he's more in line for 30, which is a bit under 5. Ibaka, really like it today. Against two bad opponents, he's put up 36 points, and the Clippers, again, another bad opponent. But he's floored at 36. So at 36 for 6,000, that's still a 6x, and I'm going to take that today. I mean, if he can somehow get to 40, thank you. But I mean, even the 5x is secure on the floor, it seems like. Take Ibaka and don't even think about it today. Same with Booker. I mean, the hope of power forward, again, for a strange reason on FanDuel, you've got choices today compared to other positions. Booker is a great spend from the Nets against the Lakers. Someone is going to have to score for them. It's probably going to be Brook Lopez, and it's probably going to be Booker. I think that's where the bulk of the scoring is going to come today against the Lakers. So Booker and Lopez are both intriguing choices to me today. Zebo is out of consideration today. Basically, Gasol's back, so it was just a rest consideration that brought him in yesterday. Cassie's in play now. Cousins is sitting, so Cassie is totally in play. Probably good for a good 25 fantasy points. Might run up to 30. I just think he's a bit expensive on the punt side. The punts should be 4,000 or less, and he's at 10% above a punt. I mean, I guess you can call it a punt with a premium. You're paying sales tax on him, but Cassie's in play. Cassie's in play. McRoberts, maybe, but not so much. Spates, no. Nance, maybe, because the matchup is okay, but he doesn't get enough minutes to be happy with. I mean, you want a guy to have upside to some 30, 35 minutes. Almost all your slots, and he doesn't have that, so... not on a 10-game slate, maybe not on a 5-game slate or a 6-game like yesterday, but on a 10-game slate, yeah, you can find that. Everywhere can be decent. I don't see much else. Let's move on to, except for Channing Frye, which is obviously just an amazing value. Guys are probably going to be on the court for 35 minutes today with all those guys out of Cleveland. I mean, take him at 3,600. That is punt prices. That's 10% below the 4,000. It's the threshold. I mean, you're basically 100 above minimum on FanDuel. So take Frye, move on, don't even think. And I almost locked the power forward position for you guys, but that might make it a little easier for you. And since you can't spend up at Cousins today, you might as well spend up at Embiid. I mean, I think the guy's good for a solid 40 points today. You want to take your 40 points and run to the bank. I mean, he's averaging like 1.6 FanDuel points a minute, and he's in a 28-minute restriction, but I mean, they've been jumping it up every little bit every week, so I mean, he could see 29 or 30 because they just test it out and just do it. And, they will pull him. He won't see more than 30 minutes no matter what, or even 28 at the floor. But within those 28 to 30 minutes, he's going to do a lot of action and a lot of damage. So I would take Embiid today and not even think. If you have a little extra and want to spend up touch more, go with Lopez. Wonderful matchup. Someone has to get some scoring with them. Do that. You've heard my opinions on Whiteside. I wouldn't take Whiteside until he drops into the low 8s before I start to deal with his shenanigans, Dennis Rodman, Rajon Rondo stuff, but I'm a pretty pissy boy. Anyways, I think his teammates have responded. As you noticed, he hasn't gotten enough passes back to him to basically hit the shots. So Gasol's back and with some rest. You gotta love that for GPP. I mean, especially against a depleted Cleveland team. Really. So that's actually really nice. I mean, spend up at Gasol. I mean, if you still have a ton of money and you're like, what do I do? Go ahead, spend at Gasol. Don't go to Whiteside. Don't go to Drummond against Dallas. Don't go to Horford against San Antonio. Gobert is a GPP pick. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on Gobert today, and I think that's an intriguing little slot. But the thing is, with a lot of those guys coming back there, I would still stray away from almost everyone on Utah. I mean, that is the most... you know what? Forget I mentioned him. Go to Lopez, Embiid. Jordan would be an incredible pivot. Almost no one in their right mind would take Jordan instead of Embiid. So Jordan would be an incredible pivot. If Jordan somehow gets like 2 extra points against Orlando, over Embiid and just an amazing up and up game, well, you've beaten everyone for the very top prize. So that's exactly what I mean by a GPP pick. This guy, Jordan, is probably going to do worse than Embiid today, but there's a small chance he could do better. And if he does, wow. That's why they have multi-entry games, guys. That's why the pros can win. They can run 150 different entries. And if you have the money, if you're trying to run $100 a night or something like that, I would be considering running 20 or 30 different lineups and trying to get like a bunch of different trifecta or superfecta combinations if you think of it like horse betting. In a lot of ways, these players are almost like horses in some ways. Maybe that's why it's legal almost everywhere, because horse racing is one of the things that's still legal in most states. At least it isn't here in California. You can horse race and you can't gamble except on an Indian casino. But not that Gasol. Yes, that Gortat. Yes, Capella for sure. Yes, JV for sure. JV is really good. I mean, the Phillies the worst against the center position by a mile. So JV is wonderful. Brook Lopez against the Lakers, like I mentioned before. DeAndre Jordan, I brought him. He's still got a DVP matchup. And Cousins did have a good DVP matchup, which means down cheap, we're going to look at Kofos because they'll probably get a little extra time. But I think Willie Cauley-Stein might end up getting a little bit more of the beneficiary usage out of that if you're going to really look at the punting the Sacramento value in. There's so much value today, you're going to have to fade some of it, guys. So look on a consideration of, is the game going to be a blowout or not? That'll be the smart way to run today. At the small forward again, just because I didn't mention it, good DVPs, Booker against the Lakers, Randall and Nance both against the Nets, Aldridge against Boston, and Marvin Williams against the Wizards. He's cheap, I think like 4,300, so if you need a punt in back there power forward, I mean that's another good way to kind of do it. Alright, let's go ahead and do the 2-minute roundup here real fast, guys. And I will post an update in the last couple minutes if necessary, because this is a crazy day and it could happen. But this is for cash games. I mean, I would play it just cash because when I say GPP, I mean you can lose. So I'm just saying this is what I'm kind of running up as a good lineup for now. DraftKings, I still need to work on my modeling. It's not perfect, which is why it's not really advertised. Harrison at the point guard, Smith at your shooting guard, at your small forward George, at your power forward Frye, at your center Embiid, at your guard Harden, at your forward Booker, and at your center Capella. And for your cash lineup for FanDuel today, Westbrook at your point guard, Beverly at your point guard, Smith and Harden for your shooting guards, Johnson and Ariza for your small forwards, Ibaka and Frye at your power forward, and Embiid for your center today. Alright guys, thank you guys so much for watching Fantasy Forecast. It's been a trying couple of days. If you really appreciate me doing these lineups and you like today's lineup, just give me a thumbs up, give me some appreciation for doing these videos. I really appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It helps support the free channel. I keep doing the videos as long as I see the subscription numbers keep going up. It means I know you guys really like and enjoy it. Go ahead and comment down below. I comment once a day. I'm done with the comments about half an hour before lock, maybe 15 minutes at the most, because I need to respond on Twitter at the last minute to people and make sure that if last minute news comes out that I can change these lineups. There will be an update posted on YouTube if there is an update done before that time. If it comes after that time, it's posted on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at the link in the description below. Alright, thank you guys again so much for watching Fantasy Forecast. I really hope you guys use these videos to go make some good money. Every day I have someone coming back to me, even when I have a losing lineup, that they won good money because they were checking out good picks and they got some good information out of this video. But I'm just not like people. I don't charge anything, so I don't retweet that stuff or anything. I'm not going to flood your guys' boxes. That's just stupid. I'm just saying I hope you guys use all this information to do the very best you can. Learn what the good picks in the industry are and try to make some really, really, really big hits and really big money. If you've got the money to play extra entries, then run a lot of entries if you can and try to really hit that lottery ticket big. You guys play 10 Super Lotto tickets, why wouldn't you play 10 DFS tickets? Alright, that's Fantasy Forecast for your big NBA Wednesday, December 14th, 2016. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I want you guys to go out there and go win some big money today.